Assyrians are Hamites, the nomads are Semites, and the Europeans and Caucasians are Japhites. The Hamites and the Semites are originally dark-skinned people. But today in North Africa, you can have Berber people who are very light in complexion, who are actually Hamites, son of Canaan. In the Middle East, the Arabs and the Jews think that they are Semites, but this is not true. Some among the Arab-speaking population today can be descendants of original Semites who were dark-skinned, but many Arab speakers in the Middle East are descendants of Romans, they are Japhites, Turks, they are also Japhites, and Abbasids from the Caucasus, who are also Japhites. And the Ottoman slave trade Slavic people who are also Japhites. As for the Israelis, many of them are Ashkenazi Jews. Ashkenaz is son of Gomer, son of Japhet, so again, Japhites. This is the end of the world, and in these days, you have to know thyself.
You know how much history and archaeology that this guy has to ignore, and many other people who believe this bullshit has to ignore in order to make and validate their little bullshit story? Tons. I'm not even going to go beyond the Younger Dryas period, the last ice age. I'm not even going to go beyond that. We're going to start with the oldest civilization that we know of after the Younger Dryas flood, which happened in or around 12,000 to 9,000 BCE. What we do know is that there was civilizations in Turkey called at Taran Tepe, which is about 12,000 BCE. We know that Göbekli Tepe is around 8 to 9,000 BCE. More recently, they've been saying 10 to 11,000 BCE. These societies existed. We know that the Sumerian society began in and around 7 to 8,000 BCE. The Egyptians around 7 to 8,000 BCE. The people in China, modern day China, 7 to 8,000 BCE. The Kushites, 7 to 8,000 BC. All these civilizations in Australia, in the Americas, existing 7 to 8,000 BCE, people were alive during that time frame. Now, many of these societies have flood stories, but these flood stories are written about something that supposedly happened thousands of years prior. Now, when you look at the Chinese flood story, in the Chinese flood story, it is not a worldwide flood, but a localized flood in and around the Yellow River. And they figured out how to irrigate the land so that they would not be suffering from these floods. What's the problem? Is their society never ends, never has a hiccup and a restart in and around the 4,400 BCE time frame to which your Noah story should have happened. The Egyptians, no hiccup during that time frame. The Minoans, no hiccup during that time frame. The King's List, no hiccup during that time frame. They don't have it. The Akkadians, the Akkadians, they don't have that hiccup. The Assyrians don't have that hiccup. So where did that leave you? That leaves you with a flood story that the Canaanite people who became Israelites created in order to try to make a history for themselves, and by claiming that they are the ones who repopulated the entire planet through their 3 sons. So you already got people in Kush, you already got people in Egypt, already got people in the Mesopotamia, already got people in Europe during this time frame, people in China during this time frame, Australia, the Americas, people all over the world during this time frame, people in the South Pacific during this time frame. Yet you want me to believe that my lineage comes from those people. You want to make up stuff that because in the 1747 map they called the kingdom of Ouida, they couldn't say it, so they called it Judah. You want me to believe that those were Judite people, that they came from the tribe of Judah in West Africa, and that's who the Dahomey sold to in the transatlantic slave trade. You want me to believe that because they wrote it on a map in the 1700s? No, no. Those people already had a culture. The Igbo people, who were previously called the Erie people, already had cultures and civilization that was going on longer than your Canaanite, Hamite stories. They're not Hamites. The people of Somalia were not Hamites, and they were already around. But you have to ignore all that history, turn your blinders on in order for you to believe that everybody came from those people. Just so, one, you can spew your hate. You can spew your hates because eventually you're going to get down to Esau and the Edomite people. And even though your Bible tells you that you're supposed to love your Edomite people because they're your cousins and everything, it's a bunch of bullshit. And according to your story, Moses genocided the Moabite people, but yet in the time frame of David and Solomon, the Moabite kingdom existed in the southeastern portion of their kingdom on the other side of the Sea of Galilee. Come on, man. Come on. The math just ain't mathing because you're just trying to force your narrative. And this is why we deconstruct from this book, because this book is filled with errors from your supposedly inerrant guys, your supposedly inspired by God book. This book is inspired by men and their greed and their politics. But hey, if you want to be the fool, be the fool. Keep believing in it. Always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.